Hi everyone. Each year I make a one-of-a-kind ornament for my customers. I've been making custom ornaments since about 2004. I put my signature on the backside, also the year, and I have made a promise never to repeat a design. This year I decided to make a cardinal, which will be inserted into a larger cane with a blue background, and I am going to be adding some other elements to it to make it more interesting. So here is stage one on my cardinal cane. First I printed out a picture of a stained glass cardinal. Then I traced my stained glass cardinal onto tracing paper and sort of matched my discs. I have a big collection of discs to the individual pieces of the cardinal. And I've mixed up all my colors. I've got different shades of red, white for the eyeball, which is very tiny, some black, and my next step then is going to be to extrude my pieces. Now the clay was pretty sturdy, pretty firm and stiff, so I have added some diluent to it to soften it up. I want these to be real soft so that when I put them inside my big cane, they will extrude easily. And this is the background that I've already prepared that this is going to go over. The cardinal is going to sit in here if this works out. Next, I will take out my extruder and extrude all my pieces. So for an extruder, I'm using my Lucy Clay heavy-duty extruder. I've had it for years. But here's a little tip. Especially when I'm using small bits of clay and changing discs around, I get tired of having to unwind this all the way out to switching around and put this on the other end. And yes, I can switch the tube too, but it's a little inconvenient. So what I've discovered is I make sure that my plunger end is coated with the LC lubricant. And then I went to a local shop and picked up a big bolt, and a friend of mine ground the end of it down so the end was round. Just makes it easier to use. And I use that to push that plunger back in as far as I think I need it. And since these are really tiny small bits of clay, I don't need to push it in very far. So here we have all my extrusions done. They're laid out, and my next step will be to add some of the black lines in that I need in the design to basically differentiate the different parts of the bird, like the wing from the breast and the head and the tail, etc. And I will do that by rolling out some black clay on my pasta machine as thin as I can get it, which on my machine is a number 7, and then laying the strips in place. I'm gonna need more black clay than this, so I'm gonna go get some more clay and I'll be right back. So I'm back. So what I've done, I didn't think you guys wanted to hear me run the pasta machine, so I ran my clay through the pasta machine. My black clay, it's as thin as I can get it on there. And I've taped down a piece of paper to my work surface because the clay will stick to clay, but it won't stick to paper. So when I put my pieces together, when I put my lines on my pieces, they'll stick. So I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to stick it on the end so I can stretch it, make it even thinner by gently stretching it out. And tack that down to the work surface. So the first piece I'm going to put together is the beak. And you can see here that there's a tiny little line between the two triangles for the beak. There's also a black line on the outside. So I'm going to try and do this. We'll see if it works. I have my two extruded pieces here. They're longer than I need, so I'm going to trim them down. I really only need 6 inches of cane, but I figured I would work at about 8 inches and give me some extra cane for flub ups. So I've stuck the triangles down to the black clay. Now there's only one line on that in between the two triangles, so I'm only sticking down one. And now I'm going to use my blade, and I'm going to just follow along that edge. And I kind of use my other hand here as a guide that so I don't go crooked. And you can see that the clay is now sticking to the black clay is sticking to the orange clay and not the paper, which is a neat trick. Next, I'm going to put these two triangles together. Oh, these are really small and they're really soft. I'm going to line up those edges. This is tedious, but then again, I kind of like tedious. Okay, so now I have my two triangles with my line in between. Let's trim that end off. That's going to form my beak. Let's see, where's that camera? There we go. Next, if on the picture, these two edges have the black line on them. So I'm going to put those two black lines on next. And I'm just going to follow the same process I did for the line in between the two. I'm going to lay this down on my clay, on my black. And I'm going to trim. And if my head's in the way, sorry about that. I'm looking straight down at my work table to cut that. And I need to clean this up a little bit. I cut it crooked. I'll stay with the sharp side down. There we go. So there's one side of that beak with the black on it. Now for that side, what did I do here? Boy, I didn't cut that straight. All right, let's trim the side up too. It's only because I have the camera on that I'm making these mistakes, you know. I usually do this with music in the background and I never have an issue. All right, that should be good. So I have the black on the one side of the beak. Now we'll do the other side. This clay is really sticky. There we go. So now I have that outline, and this beak is going to be a little bit too square. I need it longer or narrower. So I am going to gently go along that edge. Oh shoot. That black line should be on this side, not that side. But you know what? It's okay because this is going to be up against the black on the eye. So I don't need to try and take it off. I'll just put the other side on. I'll just put black all around it. And then after I do that, I will gently pinch it into the shape I need. So this process will create the outline, defining the pieces, each piece from the piece next to it. And as I said, it's kind of long and tedious. So I'm going to do this beak, and then I will do the rest of it, skip it over, not record it, because I don't think you guys need to watch me do this. It'll take an hour. And come back when I have them all the pieces ready to assemble. So there's side number 3. And I need to move this down so I can see. Come on. It's really sticky. I'm not used to clay this sticky. I think I put too much clay softener in it. But it'll extrude, not extrude, it will reduce better in the center of the cane because it's softer. And which is why I made it softer, so that it would extrude when I'm reducing the big cane. The outside always moves faster than the center. So I found that if I make the center in a softer clay, it kind of evens out and then reduces a little more evenly for me, especially on a big. Well, I started putting the black lines on, and as I was putting them on, I started putting the cane together. So this is where I'm at the moment. I will need to put a black line on this edge because this piece is going to fit up like right here. And once I have this all put together, then I get to figure out how in the heck I'm going to put it in the cane without distorting it. That's going to be the tricky part. So this piece will go here. And let me see here. That's the tail. This piece will fit right in right in here, kind of like that. Oh, let me see that. So it's going to go kind of like that. And then I'll fit the tail up in there somehow. Yeah, that's coming together. Well, I'm going to go on to the next sections here, and I'll come back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm putting some of these together now. Let's see if I can get this on camera. So I'm got my black lines in places, and now I am fitting these pieces in, lining up my lines along the length. Checking to make sure it lines up inside, and it doesn't. What am I doing wrong? It's gotta go there. I find looking right down the cane with one eye closed and the other eye focused on the cane helps. Okay, that goes there. And this has got to line up right there. And this lines up right there. I see part of my problem. I didn't have black right there. So it's not lining up quite right. So, I'll cut a strip. Fit it in place on that piece. There. Oh, this is tricky. I don't know what was I thinking when I decided to do this way. Clean up my edges. Turn it over, and I can run my blade along that edge to trim it. Pinch it all together and hope I'm getting the right shapes in there. Okay. Now the tail needs to fit under this, going like this. Okay, so I'm going to angle that this way just by rounding off that edge. And I'm going to put black on the outside of the tail too. The black is going to, on the outside of each color, is going to separate it from the colors of the cane and create a defining line. If I don't do that, then the colors can meld together and you can't, it's harder to see the actual shapes, especially when this gets to be, 1/2 inch square for earrings. And at 1/2 inch square for earrings, you're not going to see a lot of the detail I'm putting in. My husband says I put too much detail in my stuff. I probably do. But I'm going to, oh, that's not long enough. Put black on the outside of each of these, on each side of this piece, and then attach it and put it all together. I see I need to put some here too, so I'm going to need more black. Stretch that so it's not quite so thick. I don't need to worry about this side because it's going to go up against the black that's right here. So, but I will put some on this edge. First I'll do this side. And here's a tip for you. I have this pen tool, or pin tool, that I bought from Meg's Bottom. And it's basically like a pencil with a needle in it. And it works great for popping bubbles when you get it, when you're putting these things together. That way you don't have air pockets when you're reducing the cane. Now this is the edge that's going to be the bottom of the tail, so I'm going to put the black right in here too. Sharp side down, Jen. Remember that, sharp side down. I know some people mark their blades. I have too many blades to mark. Watch out for my head. It's going to be in the way again, so I can see down this edge. There we go. Okay. Oh, I need this piece here. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to cut a strip about that width, or wider, I should say. And I'm going to line up one edge and then fold it around. And I chose this edge because it's going to be easier to trim up against this other side than it would against here. You can see. And this looks like a mess. But hopefully once I slice into it, it works. I won't know till it's done, and then if it doesn't work, I will say, oh, that afternoon and all that clay was a waste of time. All right, so the tail is gonna go, I still need to pinch this in some more. And I see another bubble. There we go. So the tail's gonna go here. And I made it too long, so I'll trim that end off. And let's see, where's my head? Here's my head. Hopefully I didn't make the head too small. You know what, this body isn't quite round enough. I'm gonna take the tail off. And since the head is smaller, I am actually going to just kind of pinch this down and make that body rounder. Much better. And I think I want to put black here too. So I'll do that right now. And my hands are getting sticky from the clay and they're turning black. It's normal. Okay. This edge. And again, I have a line there that isn't covered with the black, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut a strip. Put the one edge in place where it meeting up with the other black line. Okay, I gotta do it this way. I can't see it from the other side. Sorry, guys. So that's lined up. Now I'm going to turn it over and trim it. And I apologize. This is a long process. So I'm thinking about speeding it up, but then I don't know if I want to speed it up because then these little extra steps you guys don't hear about or see. Oh yeah. I also think I want to fill this edge in right there. It'll support that beak a little bit so it doesn't get distorted when I go to put as easily when I go to put together. I'm not sure how I'm going to keep that sharp. If this cane were bigger, I would outline it. If it was going to be on its own, I would outline it with another color and fill in those gaps. But since it's going inside another cane, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Okay. Yeah. Now, back to the body. Here it is. Wrong side. There we go. Ah. Clay sticky. Doesn't want to stay in place. Bubbles. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Now add that tail back. That body rounder looks much better. Okay, it's done, and it looks like a cardinal. Yay! Now I have to figure out how to put it inside there. I'm going to take a slice off the end and let it rest up until I figure out the rest of this. But I'm going to take a slice off this end to keep for posterity. Oh, my blade smeared that a little bit, but I think it'll be okay. Well, here we go. Here's the finished cane. It's about 8 inches long, maybe a little bit longer than that. And here's the slice I took off the end. I think this looks great. Thank you all for watching. And I will continue to work on putting that inside here and adding all the other little elements I'm going to add. And I'll show you the finished product in a few days when it's finished. Have a great afternoon now. Thank you.